chosen him to be my husband. Narad Muni, who was listening to this conversation, got worried and said, O king, the man your daughter has chosen is Satyavan. He is really virtuous and righteous. However, there is one problem because of which I don't think your daughter should marry him. Looking at the king's curious eyes, Devarshi Narad continued, King Dyumat Sen's son will not live long. Exactly 1 year from today, Satyavan will meet his death. Hearing these words from Narad Muni, the king requested his daughter to forget about marrying Satyavan and look for another groom. However, Savitri said, Father, in my mind I have already decided Satyavan to be my husband. Marrying anyone else now is out of the question. It is also not right. I request you to start preparations for our wedding. Hearing these words from Savitri, Narad Muni said, O king, your daughter is right. You should wed your daughter as per her wish without any worry. I bless this union. King Ashwapati approached King Dyumat Sen in his hermitage and proposed Savitri's marriage to his son Satyavan. With the blessings of both parents, the wedding happened as per Vedic rituals. After the wedding, Savitri denounced all the royal possessions and started living in her hermitage with her husband and in-laws. However, she never forgot the words of Narad Muni. She kept counting days. 4 days before the fateful day, Savitri started fasting and praying to gods. She did not eat or drink anything for these 4 days. On the fateful day when Satyavan decided to head to the forest to pick some fruits and wood, Savitri insisted on accompanying him. For the first time since her wedding, Savitri had expressed some desire, so her in-laws insisted that Satyavan fulfill her simple wish and take her with him. Throughout the way, Savitri kept remembering the words of Narad Muni. Suddenly, Satyavan started sweating and felt very weak. He came to Savitri and said, Savitri, I am feeling very tired and cannot even stand. I think I should rest for a while. Satyavan rested his head on Savitri's lap and fell asleep. In a moment, his body became colorless, and Savitri noticed a heavy-set man dressed in red and holding a noose in his hand, standing in front of them. Savitri said, Looking at your divine appearance, I have no doubt that you are a god. I request you to introduce yourself and let me know what you desire coming here. Yamraj replied, I am Yam. Your husband's time on earth has come to an end. Hence I have come to carry him with me. After saying these words, Yam tied Satyavan's soul to his noose and started going away. Savitri started following him. Noticing Savitri coming after him, Yamdev stopped and said, Go back, Savitri. Go and perform the last rites of your husband. Hearing Yamraj's words, Savitri said, O God of death, according to Dharma, wherever my husband goes, I am supposed to follow. Yamraj said, Don't be stubborn, Savitri. Ask me for a boon except for your husband's life and go back. Savitri said, O Dharmaraj, if you want to offer me a boon, then please make sure my father-in-law can see again. Make him powerful and able, as he was before he lost his eyesight. Yamraj said, So be it, and started walking again. In a while, he turned back to see that Savitri was still there. Savitri said to Yamraj, Only truly blessed ones get to experience the company of gods. Any conversation with gods is a blessing. I cannot forego this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Yam asked Savitri to ask for another boon except for the life of her husband. Savitri asked for her father-in-law to regain his lost kingdom. Yam said, As you wish, and moved on. Savitri continued to follow Yam and said, You carry people out of this world against their wishes. However, in this world, Showing kindness to others is the biggest virtue. You should also show kindness to me." Hearing these words from Savitri, Yamraj said, "Savitri, I am very pleased with your words. You can ask for one more boon, but please know that I will not spare the life of your husband." Savitri said, "O son of Vivaswan, my parents do not have any sons. Please bless them with 100 sons who can carry their legacy forward." Yam said, "Your mother Malvi will give birth to 100 illustrious sons of your father. Now stop being stubborn and return to your in-laws. They need you the most in this time of grief." Savitri replied, "I do not know how far I have come following you. I do not know if I will be able to go back now. I feel like the only option left to me right now is to keep following you." Yamraj smiled at Savitri's words and said, "Okay, ask me for one more boon. I can give you anything except for sparing the life of Satyavan. You have to go back this time though." Savitri stood in front of the god of death with folded hands and said, "O god of afterlife, I have experienced all the joys of life except motherhood. I have heard that being a mother is the supreme joy any woman can experience. Please give me a boon to become the mother of 100 illustrious sons." Yamraj said, "So be it," and moved on. Savitri stopped him and said, "Maharaj, I am a woman of virtue. You are taking away my husband. Without him, how do you think I would become the mother of 100 sons?" Yamdev smiled and said, "O Savitri, my boon cannot go in vain. I am returning the soul of your husband and bless the two of you a 400 years long life together. Two of you now have my blessings." Saying this, Yam released Satyavan's soul from his noose and disappeared. Thus, after getting her husband's life back, Savitri went back to the place where Satyavan's dead body was. She kept his head on her lap and started waiting for Satyavan to open his eyes. After a while, Satyavan opened his eyes as if he had just woken up from sleep. As soon as Satyavan opened his eyes, he realized it was dark. He said to Savitri, "Savitri, it is so late. How long I must have slept. Why didn't you wake me up?" Savitri looked at Satyavan with an expression of relief in her eyes and said, "You did not look well. That is why I did not find it wise to wake you up. Let's go now. Father and mother must be getting worried." Back at the hermitage, Dymat-Sen regained his eyesight, but he was worried since his son and daughter-in-law had not yet returned. Next day morning, when Savitri returned to the hermitage with Satyavan, they felt relieved. After a while, a messenger from Shalv arrived at the hermitage. The messenger informed the king that the enemy who had chased Dymat-Sen out of the kingdom had been killed by his own ministers, and they wanted Dymat-Sen to become the king of Shalv once again. As Yamraj had blessed, King Ashwapati and Queen Malvi had 100 sons, who inherited the kingdom of their father after him. Savitri and Satyavan also had 100 sons and lived for 400 years. After narrating this story to Yudhishthir, Markandeya Rishi said, "The Savitri not only saved her husband's life, but also brought good fortunes for her parents and in-laws. This daughter of Drupad will bring back your good fortunes." This incident of Savitri bringing her husband back from the dead inspired the festival of Vat Savitri, which is celebrated every year on Amavasya of Jesht month. Fast on this day and worship the banyan tree, wishing the long life of their husbands.